Hello friends and enemies, it's me as well here at Happy For Now with your Romancelandia monthly for May. Listen, I gotta like knock on the wood as I say this, okay? Like this feels like bad luck, but weirdly quiet month. Pretty calm, pretty chill. What did happen was wild. Still wild, but it wasn't all like Romancelandia-esque. We're gonna kind of cover just some things that happened this month that like are romance adjacent, we'll call it. It wasn't too wild of a month. I feel like I had to have missed something, but I can't find anything I missed. So maybe the summer calm is coming. Fingers crossed for a minute, at least, that we're going to get a little bit of like less ridiculousness. But like I said, we still had some stuff go down in the month of May. As always, this is filmed ahead, which means that if anything has happened since May 25th, it is not included in this month's. It will be in next month's Romancelandia. So let's dive in. We've got some TikTok stuff first. Most of everything that happened I feel like was on TikTok this month. Yeah, everything was on TikTok. So we have two TikTok platform specific things. First of all, TikTok publishing we talked about in Romancelandia last month or the month before. Anyways, they announced that they're going to start publishing books. They have an imprint. This was revealed because like they've job postings up. Well, I just want to do like a author beware, be careful, because I saw some people talking about having seen the contracts that TikTok sent out, and apparently they're not the best for publishing. Unsurprising, but also not the best in the way that it seems they have extremely long exclusivity rights and other rights that usually aren't as long as that in these contracts. So just something to be aware of if you're an author watching this. I don't know how many authors really watch this, but I found that surprising and like kind of like, oh, okay, like they're doing this, but they're doing this weirdly because it's not how other publishing houses do it. So that's happening. The other thing I want to talk about, which is only for UK and Ireland, which is sad. I'm assuming we will get a US version of this also. They're doing the TikTok Awards. So the TikTok Awards are going to be announced in July. It's in partnership with a book festival, it sounds like, or something like that over in the UK. I know Ireland is not part of the UK also. We're gonna note that that is a separate entity, and that's a whole other conversation. Anyways, either way, those are the countries that get to vote, and they're gonna have like best TikTok creator, best book talk revival, book you wish you could reread, and they have a bunch of people in publishing, it seems, that are going to vote on the books that are nominated accordingly. And then the awards will be announced in July. So I'll talk about it in July when it happens. I'm intrigued, to say the least. I know my book talk tends to be pretty US centric, the videos I get, but I also know that there's a lot of book talkers all over the world, which is like one of my favorite things about book talk, is I'm able to find people who do this all over and like to read and talk about things. So that's really fun. But yeah, I just mostly find this weird, really random. It just feels really random, but I'll be curious to see what books make it, what books don't. I'd love to know if you're in the UK or Ireland and planning to vote on this, because I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I just find it really weird. But again, I feel like it ties right into the publishing situation too, so it makes sense at the same time. All right. Oh, did we talk about... I can't decide what one I want to go to next, so we have two more points. I think we're going to start with the most banana pants one. And also not exactly romance adjacent, but it is reviewer adjacent, so I feel like I should cover it. And it's kind of spread across book spaces. So on Book Talk earlier this month, someone named PK Mancini or Pollyanna Brown made this video that I'm going to play for you.
Because the BS that you've been put through, enough's enough. I've had it. Nope, we're not doing it. Not one more day. Here's what we're going to do. Authors on this app are getting bullied for asking for reviews under the auspice that they are asking for free labor. No, not at all. That is literally one of the most asinine arguments I've ever heard, and we're going to tear it down brick by brick, and then I'm going to give you resources to protect yourself so that you don't have to deal with this and you can tell everyone to go kick rocks. First off, professional reviewers are paid typically through a publication. They are journalists, and they are paid by the publication for the review so that it remains neutral. If you are hired independently as a professional reviewer, you must disclose that in your review, which basically renders it completely useless to the author. So authors, If you are paying for reviews, stop. No more of that. We're going to do something else instead. So from now on, authors, when you are engaging with ARC readers or beta readers or anyone else who is intended to give you feedback for your book, from now on, they get to sign a contract. Their payment is the materials in exchange for an honest review, and they must have read the book. They need to have a thorough review, and you get to set the dictation on what that looks like. So what are the elements that they need to have in there to ensure that they've actually read the book? If they do not provide you your review, or if they have not read the book and it is clear, then you get to go after them for payment for the book and damages to your brand and damages to your time, because you only have so many copies that you get to send out. Like and follow for part 2, and definitely run this by your lawyer. You are going to find that it is going to save you a lot of hassle and headache. Like and follow.
And people reacted, you know, I don't know if anyone is surprised, but people reacted negatively to this video, especially other reviewers and authors saying this is career ending advice. And reviewers, like ARC reviewers and readers said, hey, if you do this, I will never read your books, and I am going to tell my friends not to read your books, which valid, like, you know, we have a network of people, we talk to each other. And generally speaking, an author's bad behavior gets out around these things. And then she walked it back and tried to tell us all that we were wrong with how we interpreted her words. Here's that video.
I do not advocate for authors to sue their readers and reviewers. The videos that I made a couple days ago had nothing to do with suing readers and reviewers. It had everything to do with protecting authors with their legal, with their intellectual property, and with their life's work. I took those videos down because a lot of the misinterpretations and leaps made by people watching the videos were really harmful to the community. A community that I love, a community that I support, and a community that I fight for every day of my life. What I was saying is that contracts are important and authors deserve to be protected like every other business. If you use a contract or how you use a contract is completely up to you as an author and as a human. The word sue never left my mouth. There has been an uptick in piracy, especially among indie authors, and a lot of them can trace it back to their ARC readers. And that causes severe damage to their brands and their income. Many of these authors have no recourse to protect themselves and protect their book, and that is wrong. I was not telling authors to go sue their readers or sue their reviewers. That is utterly ridiculous and completely out of bounds. Not to mention, contracts exist so that both parties' expectations are completely clear. It's not about creating a document that allows you to attack somebody. Contracts exist in order to make expectations clear and protect both people involved. This is not about giving authors the upper hand. This is about protecting authors' work. I do not.
So, listen, I had to put both videos in here because at the end of the day, no one misinterpreted the words that this attempt at an editor, mentor, writer, I don't know what to call her, said. Like, she literally said to enter a contract with your readers to guarantee you get a review. And I have like my personal points on this before we dive into like more of like the stuff that's been found out. You are getting a review for free if a reader reviews your ARC that you give them. If it's an e-ARC, your out-of-pocket costs are very small. You know, you don't have to send it through BookFunnel and pay for that service. You can send it via email. That's often how I get a lot of the ARCs I get. I don't get them through BookFunnel for some of the indies I review for. Reviewers are not your employees also. So the idea that you would enter a contract for no payment and think that a book is payment enough for the amount of work that bookish creators, influencers, reviewers do for other authors, like, that's not fair payment. Like a $10 book, let's say, an ebook, we're gonna be generous. We're gonna say $9.99 ebook. Let's say that's what you're selling it for on Amazon as an indie author. Does not equate to the value that we bring back to you as reviewers when our content makes your book popular and helps push your book into other readers' hands. I would assume that if one reviewer, let's say, got 3 people to read it, you're gonna make back more than what you spent on giving that author on giving that creator a book to review, give or take. We're gonna say 3 to be generous. I don't know the like Amazon percentages exactly, but I'm just saying, like, more than likely, if that reviewer got 3 more people to pick it up for that review, like, you're getting paid back in full. There is no like monetary. Also, Amazon terms and services for reviews do require that you are not allowed to pay reviewers to review your book or your thing. That is technically like in their terms of service. So like the reviewer could lose their account and you could also get into trouble and lose your reviews on a book if you were monetarily reimbursing people for reviews. Now this is different than like commissioning someone to do a reading vlog for your book or commissioning someone to sensitivity read. Those things should be paid services, and that's very different than doing a full-on like, you know, I'm gonna sue you because you didn't review my arc. I just cannot imagine getting an arc and being told, here, I need you to agree to this contract. But 2, the level of like scammy weirdness happening here after the fact that was found out, we're about to deep dive. Not too deep because like there's so many good threads on this and videos and all the things. But yeah, she basically just tried to gaslight everyone. I was like, that's not what I said. But that is exactly what she said. There's no other way to say that you can go after them that doesn't mean suing. Like, I don't understand what else you could mean. Also, I did feel like she was very confused on the idea of what a publishing, like a published, like Publishers Weekly or Kirkus review means versus a just general bookish influencer creator review. That part was also weird to me. So as this video like started gaining traction, people started researching Pollyanna or PK Mancini. It seems like this is her like, who knows how many iterations of a business online in which she is offering services that are overpriced. I think it was about $2,000 for an edit. That's really high. It was like 5 or 10 cents a word, I think. A bunch of authors talked about how ridiculous this was. She also like continues to position herself as an authority on publishing when she continuously misspeaks about publishing. So one of my favorite things that was found out is at one point she was offering ghostwriting services and indie publishing services for $15,000. That's wild. She also offered to traditionally publish your book for $20,000 basically. That's not how traditional publishing works. So like, I don't know if she is or isn't a ghostwriter. That's a really hard thing to confirm or deny, to be honest, because that all involves a bunch of NDAs, right? People can't talk about it. But to say to people that if you pay me $20,000, I'm going to write your book and get it traditionally published, I don't think that's how that works. But then it also got wilder because as like people were watching more of her videos, she would say things like, I have 25 years of experience in the entertainment industry, or I have X years of experience as a writer, and this or that. And everyone was like, how? Well, come to find out, she graduated in 2013 from like Full Sail with her master's. I think her undergrad was Grand Canyon, which we're not going to talk about like degree quality here. That's a whole other thing. Questionable, you know, but she supposedly has 2 double masters. One's in psychology and one's in screenwriting, creative writing, something. Either way, she claims that. And then we'll say things like, yeah, I have 25 years of experience. And then it comes out, oh yeah, she's counting since birth. She's counting like being in beauty pageants or something, I guess, as a child, or being a child actor, I guess. I don't know. But either way, I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how that works, y'all. Pollyanna is exploding out her like qualifications to sound really grandiose when she doesn't really have these qualifications at the end of the day to do these things. Foz over on TikTok and on Twitter did a really, really good deep dive that I'm going to link to for you. Like, it goes through like her other things she's done, finds a, you know, an old website on the Wayback Machine, all the things. Like, really, really well done deep dive for someone who is not an investigative reporter, and a really interesting deep dive because, again, I think it just revealed to me at least why I was so off put by that original video, because it felt like somebody who didn't know anything about publishing. And, you know, as readers, our knowledge of publishing is very different than an author's. You know, there's things that we're just gonna go, that's not right, that's not how that works. So this was one of those where I just like watched everyone drag her and went, how did we get here? How did you think this was normal? Because I still don't know how. I'm still confused. So yeah, I just hope no authors take her advice seriously, because I really think it could be one of the worst things you could do for your career to like try and get a contract with reviewers to review a book. Seems sketchy to me. All right, and next we have the other explosion. So I didn't know about this at all. I know about this book box. So it's the Romance Reveal box, something like that. And I was under the assumption that like most other book boxes, they pay their authors. Well, we had an indie author come out and say that the email contract they get sent is basically a request for a full manuscript of their book, and then for them to send 5 to 1,000 pieces of swag into the box, give or take. It depends, I think. But they would take that manuscript and then print your book to be put in the box. And then they'd add your swag to the box, and it would go out in one of the monthly boxes. So I was like, that's a little weird. And I'm not saying like every book box is like paying tons of monies to authors, but I do think it's weird that this book box is co-founded by our entrepreneur and a lady. They're obviously making a profit. They have a team. They're paying people. And there's no money going back to the authors in any capacity. They do supposedly offer basic PR services, we'll call it, in which you can post in their Facebook group, you get promoted on their Instagram and stuff like that. And I do think there can be value for certain indies to do this, to go this route probably, but I also think it's really important to think about the fact that they're making a profit off of your work, putting it in a box and saying, here you go, here's books for people to read. And then I guess just like pocketing back all the cash, because the reveal book boxes I've seen have not been great. There's not like a ton of stuff in there to make it a break even. The money's not going to charity. It's literally for profit. And it's not like a brand new box, which I could also see a more break even style with that. Like where, you know, it's a new box. We can't pay yet, but maybe we will. And then they also link out from their website to authors pages on Amazon. And I'm wondering if those are affiliate links. I didn't check. And if they are, that means they're also making money when people buy books through their links. I just think it's sketch, personally. So yeah, this is an exposure. Exposure doesn't pay the bills, y'all. I think that there was a lot of interesting discussions around this situation. Some people were on the side of, I'm an indie author, I can't afford a PR company. This is cheaper for me to like give them my manuscript, send them a stack of bookmarks or whatever to throw in the box. And I get my box in the hands of 500 plus readers that I've never met before. I can see that value, and I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, but I think when you put it in the context of then finding, if you didn't know that other book boxes pay, I think that's when the context like of that gets a little sketchier. And I also will link to it. An author that like loved the service, thinks it's great, down below talked about how much it costs to do a Goodreads giveaway, to do a BookBub featured promo and things like that. Because like there are costs. Free books cost authors money. So those items, you know, she kind of runs those costs by, and why for her reveal book box makes sense. And that's fine and dandy, but I still think it's weird. I personally just think it's weird to not compensate authors for their work when you are going to print that work and put it in a box that you sell for profit. Again, if it was a charity thing, okay, cool. Like that, I would be more comfortable with that personally. I'm just not comfortable with what this setup is. For me, Reveal Book Box is not one I would subscribe to. I'm not going to judge anyone who does either though. But I just think, you know, it's important for people to know when they buy a book box, if they think they're supporting indie authors and they're not actually, like that can be really disappointing and disheartening. So I don't know, y'all. It's a weird one. I'm not sure how I think about it like fully. Like I said, I'm just not a book box person also. So for me, I was just like, this seems weird. And I did confirm that generally most book boxes pay wholesale price. So like an author makes $2 to $4-ish per book in a box. So again, that's a lot better than nothing. But, you know, I know this, like I said, the Romance Reveal box can be a chance for some really smaller indie books to get in the hands of a lot more people. I don't know. I'll have links to 2 different takes on this in the description box. I would be really curious to see what y'all think, because like I said, I feel like as somebody who's not into book boxes, this is a weird one for me, because like I'm frustrated by it. I see the point of it, and like it is a marketing strategy. I can identify that element of this, but is it like an effective marketing strategy? I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't even know that BookBub free emails are an effective marketing strategy, honestly, for indie books. I think there's so much that goes into getting an indie book out there, and I could never do it. Like, I could never do it. So I just am not sure where this all lands. Okay, there's one thing I forgot, so I came back because not only did the romance book reveal box, whatever it's called, happen, we also had dual discourse about people who read too much are A, lying, or B, victims of hustle culture and overconsumption. And I would like to introduce these people to romance readers, to manga readers, to anyone who reads things that are fun and not always for educational purposes. Because the statement is bananas to me every time it comes around. But that did come around this time again this month, and I just kind of watched everyone be like, what is wrong with you? I thought we were past this. And I too thought we were past this for a little while. I thought I didn't see this on the schedule, okay? Like, I didn't see it on the cycle schedule coming around already. But no, here we are. You're lying if you read 200 books, or you're a victim of overconsumption and hustle culture. What you do with your reading is your business, and what others do with their reading is their business. And there is no benefit to lying about reading. Like, none. Who cares? I don't think anyone cares that much. I really don't think there's a benefit. So, yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. Oh, the second person, I can't find their dang Instagram post. Hopefully I can pop it up here and have found it. They deleted. I know Heather just did a video on, like, reading pace is morally neutral, but truly, nobody cares how much or how little you read. It's cool. We're all cool. We just like reading books and we like talking about them. So that is it for this month's Romancelandia. So I want to know your opinion on the reveal book boxing and the TikTok awards. I really would like to know what y'all think of that happening. And then if you don't want to do either of those things, you can leave me a sunshine emoji, because the sun is like pouring into my room right now and it feels so nice. You know, we're enjoying it before it hits 100 degrees outside. That's the key in my life right now. I'm like, it's not 100 yet, we're good. So you can leave me a sunshine emoji of your choice. Let me know if you think I missed anything. Also, I will have links to everything down below that I talked about, as well as links to be my friend anywhere on the internet. And as always, if you are a Romancelandia or higher supporter, you get early access to Romancelandia. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out down below on YouTube or Patreon. I will talk to y'all in a few days. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get away. This is what we wait.